Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trinity University's 145th Spring Commencement Ceremony. I call this ceremony to order and ask that you remain seated during the procession.
Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, which will be led by Mr. Kevin Culver. Let us pray. Gracious Lord, we are thankful for lives lived in your constant and loving presence. We celebrate today the transitions and new beginnings of today. You have gifted us, Father, with a time of journeying together, learning from each other, envisioning and testing the possibilities. We pray that we have been worthy stewards of that gift. Empower us now, Lord, as your agents to build and strengthen your creation as a community of justice, caring, and peace. Amen.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, alumni, friends, and family, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, Trinity's faculty and staff, and on behalf of the class of 2014, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Trinity University's spring commencement exercises. For 145 years, Trinity has been guided by a board of trustees whose commitment, energy, and love for the university has never wavered. I ask the representatives of the board with us today to stand so that we can express our gratitude to you and to those you represent. Since 1869, Trinity has conferred degrees on students who have successfully completed one of its demanding courses of study. Today's candidates have experienced extensive intellectual and personal growth at Trinity, nurtured and encouraged by Trinity's fantastic faculty and staff, often far beyond the call of duty. Learning is Trinity's first enterprise. Today, we honor it with diplomas that mark our degree candidates' arrival at an important milestone. Will the representatives of the faculty and staff now stand so that we may salute you and your colleagues? I would now like to take a moment to recognize two special individuals who have touched the lives of many in the auditorium today. Carmen Garza, who retires this year after 50 years of service to Trinity University, has attended every commencement ceremony in those 50 years. Also with us is Yolanda Rengel, a member of our Aramark staff, who are so central to the daily happiness of our students. She will be mentioned in our student speaker's remarks today. Something about an army marches on its stomach, so do our students. Please join me in thanking these two wonderful women for their service to the university. We would also like to salute our alumni who know firsthand the value of a Trinity education, and many of whom work tirelessly on behalf of the university after they've left this beautiful campus. Will Trinity alumni in the auditorium please stand and be recognized? There is another group that deserves special recognition. Our degree candidates would not be here if it were not for family, friends, and supporters whose encouragement and sacrifice have done so much to make today possible. Degree candidates, please rise, turn, and thank your families and supporters. It's my pleasure now to introduce Erin Baker, President of the Alumni Association and Chair of our National Alumni Board. Erin also serves as a member of the Business Advisory Council of Trinity University School of Business. Erin graduated from Trinity in 1999 with a bachelor's degree in anthropology. She then went on to study at University College Dublin, where she received a Master's of Economic Science in European Economic and Public Affairs. Erin is a director at Guggenheim Partners, a privately held global financial services firm that provides asset management, investment banking and capital market services, insurance services, institutional finance, and investment advisory solutions. Erin is also Chief of Staff to the Chief Operating Officer and is responsible for risk insurance and corporate governance matters. Please join me in welcoming Erin Baker, President of our Alumni Association.
Good morning, Dr. Alberg. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you, Class of 2014, for allowing me to be a part of your graduation ceremony. It is an important day for you, and it is my great privilege to share in it and to give you a few thoughts on being an alumna of Trinity University. I'm a 1999 graduate of Trinity, and I like to think that I have really lived the liberal arts experience. My path both at Trinity and since my own graduation has been wonderfully varied. I graduated Trinity with a BA in anthropology and minors in sociology, English, and art. I knew I wanted to go to graduate school, perhaps not surprisingly, not exactly for what. And so I took some time and I explored. I traveled by myself across Europe and the US. I spent a year working as a cook and a fishing guide at a ranch in New Mexico. I lived in Italy and studied Italian. From Italy, I moved to Ireland, where I obtained my master's in European Economic Affairs and Public Policy at University College Dublin. And from Dublin, moved sight unseen to Chicago for a position at what was then a little-known financial services firm called Guggenheim Partners, which has since grown into a well-known financial services firm and for which I now serve as Chief of Staff to our Chief Operating Officer. I tell you all that to say, life is an unfolding, and through being open to experience, which I learned in my years here at Trinity, I have happened onto a career path that is very rewarding. It is without question that through the years, my Trinity experience and degree have served me well. It is also without question that the Trinity alumni community has served me well. When I moved to Chicago, it was for a job that was a big unknown and to a city where I had no personal connection. Adult life had suddenly become disturbingly real, and it was hard. Many of you will find yourselves in a similar situation. I needed an anchor, and I found one in the Chicago chapter of the Alumni Association. Lonely, stressed out, and cold beyond belief, I do not recommend a move to Chicago in the middle of the winter, and I know I have a few Chicago folks here who will back me up. I went to a happy hour event and immediately was befriended by Trinity alums who, without asking, introduced me to their networks and helped me to begin to find my place in a new city and a new career. It was a community that welcomed me and provided a connection back to this campus, and it has been the source of some of my greatest friendships. You too will find that when you leave here, Trinity alums are eager to know and help you. Our 25,000 plus alumni are all over the world. We have 19 chapters and counting across the country that host events, and an active and dedicated body of alumni who are very valuable networking and job resources. These benefits of friendship, of making new connections, of community, and a common history are what the Trinity University Alumni Association is all about and why I am here today. My life has been enriched by my alumni connections, and I want yours to be as well. As you move out in the world, you will come to appreciate how special the Trinity community really is, and if you are like me, you will want to seek out the smart, funny, creative, open, generous, and successful people that Trinity University graduates. We really are a tribe apart, and as you walk across this stage today, you join me in this alumni community. Your time on campus may be drawing to a close, but your engagement with Trinity is lifelong. I hope it's obvious that I care a great deal about the value of my Trinity degree. I spent a lot of energy and money on it, as have you. A diploma from Trinity is a valuable thing, but it only remains so if the outside world knows about this unique university and the exceptional experience we have all had here. Our engagement as alumni is critical in ensuring that message is heard, and so I have 3 simple requests to you as I welcome you to our Alumni Association. 1, keep in touch. Keep in touch with me. You can find my information in the alumni directory on trinity.edu. Make sure yours is there too. Keep in touch with Trinity and let them know how you are doing, what you are doing, and where you are so you hear about chapter events and other activities in your area. 2, get involved. Attend a chapter networking event. Volunteer at a college fair and help recruit new students. Seek leadership opportunities at a local chapter or with the National Alumni Board. Take my job. It's rewarding to be on this side of the podium. 3, support Trinity. Your financial support is important, so give back as you are able. It is not about the amount. It is a statement of values that tells the world that you think Trinity is a worthy investment. Trinity's very success relies on alumni participation, for who better than us to tell the Trinity story? In closing, my most sincere compliments on your achievements that are being honored today, and I warmly welcome you to our Alumni Association. We all share the pride of holding a degree from Trinity University. And I am pleased to tell you that the Alumni Association has a little parting gift for you to show off that pride. Following commencement at the reception on the Esplanade, you and your family can pick up free Trinity University license plate frames, and I am told that we can even have them installed for you. So be sure to pick them up and show off your pride in our alma mater. Thank you for your time this morning. Congratulations, and I wish you every success. Thanks.
The number plate frames are very stylish, so I encourage you to show your distinctive Tiger pride. The opportunity to know Trinity students and to celebrate their many accomplishments is the greatest joy in being part of this community. Our students, as you well know, are talented, motivated, and willing to take on great challenges, both inside and outside the classroom, and they are generous in sharing their time and energy with others. That truly is the mark of a Trinity graduate. Joseph Shotland from Dallas, Texas, exemplifies these qualities. Joe graduates today with a Bachelor of Arts in English. However, this will not be the last time we will see him on campus because he is pursuing a Master of Arts in Teaching here in the fall. Joe is the embodiment of a successful Trinity student athlete. While serving as the men's basketball captain and growing a mustache for the season, he was named to the SCAC Academic Roll of Honor for the past 3 years and hopefully this year as well. He has also been nominated to the Academic All-Conference team. He has served as the intramural program assistant as well as the women's basketball coaching intern. We lost Joe a little earlier. Before the ceremony, he was doing a little more coaching on the side. He also served as the webcast color commentator for Trinity football and baseball games. It's a great pleasure to bring Joseph Shotland to the podium, and he will speak on your behalf. Joe.
I don't know if my hat is going to stay on my head, so bear with me. Thank you, President Alberg, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, friends, family, distinguished guests, class of 2014, YOLO. Now, if you're graduating today, you can't tell me that you haven't heard this overused, ridiculous acronym that became so popular during our time here at Trinity. YOLO. Now, for all the grandparents in the audience, I should probably explain. It stands for You Only Live Once, and it's kind of the unofficial anthem of Generation X. So, you only live once, might as well have that extra cookie at lunch, or hey, I'm gonna go cliff diving and jump into the ocean while studying abroad. Put it on Instagram, #YOLO. So at first it was this way to make fun of taking yourself too seriously, right? But then, as we all know, it went terribly wrong. The phrase actually dates back to the 1700s, but a certain rapper named Drake made the motto popular again in 2011. So just think of YOLO as Carpe Diem with less Latin and slightly more street cred. But here at Trinity, we like to do things differently, right? You know, we call freshmen first years, we celebrate our friends' birthdays by throwing them in a fountain full of questionable recycled water, and as President Alberg was alluding to, we grow out our blonde facial hair and dye it black in the sake of the love of basketball. So that last one was just me, but you get my point. So I hereby propose that our new motto at Trinity be Yolanda. Now don't worry, this isn't some grossly long acronym. Yolanda, as I'm sure all of my classmates know, is a wonderful lady who works at Maybe Dining Hall, and she swipes in our Tiger cards before we enter there every day. She's a staple in the Trinity community, and she embodies the spirit of graciousness that we all try to learn in addition to our great education here. Her warm greeting of, "Hello, sir," and her farewell of, "Have a great day, Joe," never cease to make me smile. Yolanda's kind and loving to every student that she encounters. And just real quick, I think she's actually in attendance today, I've been told. So can we give her a round of applause, please? So over the past 4 years, it's all been our pleasure to see her smiling face welcome us each day. And above all, Yolanda exudes 3 characteristics that I think we should all try to emulate. She listens, she smiles, and she lives life enthusiastically. So as our last lesson as Trinity undergrads, as we transition out of her space and into a much larger one, let's parse those 3 lessons out a little bit. First on the list, listening. So I can see Robert Kitzinger right now, and I know he's rolling his eyes as I, the loudest and most obnoxious member of the basketball team, talk about the necessity to listen. So friends, do as I say and not as I do. You know, we live in a day and age where listening's not very high on people's priority lists. And we walk around with headphones in our ears, our eyes are glued to our smartphones, advertisements are constantly bombarding us, white noise is everywhere. You know, we hear a lot, but how much of it do we actually absorb? Take a moment and think about somebody that you can go to for anything. Now for me, my freshman year, it was my roommate, Peter Vidmar. And if you don't know Peter, I guarantee you'll recognize him when I describe him. Wranglers, cowboy boots, 10-gallon hat, every day to class freshman year. He was affectionately known as John Wayne in the freshman quad. Now, the thing that Peter did so well, and anybody that you might be thinking of for that matter, when you would talk to him, he wasn't quick to respond. He'd listen, actively engage in the conversation, and then, when necessary, come up with something thoughtful to say. You see, we don't build any relationships with automated quick responses, right? We build trust, love, and community through time and patience. We build relationships not by what we say necessarily, but by what we absorb. When we give our time and energy, we receive others' attention and insight. We actually benefit when we choose to actively listen. So the second item on the list, smiling. Now this one's pretty self-explanatory, and as much as I try to eschew cliches, I can't avoid this one. Little Orphan Annie once said, "You're never fully dressed without a smile." And chemically, our bodies actually do feel better when we smile. I'll never forget taking classes with Dr. Claudia Stokes. She's always so energetic and engaged, and assuming everybody did the reading for that day, had a smile on her face. It always made me more willing to participate in class. Or maybe you remember that first move-in day 4 years ago. There were hundreds of smiling and slightly sweaty volunteers moving our dorms in for us. Now, funny story, true story. When we came to campus that day, I was actually asleep in the car. And the first volunteer, when they came to the door, I was so shocked that I nearly punched him in the face. All right. But can you imagine if they hadn't been smiling? I would have been kicked out of school before I even started. You know, smiling's something that's so simple, but it's so overlooked. It signals to everyone around you that your spirit, outlook, and demeanor are all positive. After an exam that didn't go the way we wanted it to, or after a night of furiously typing only to have a computer crash, you can't tell me when you walked into Maybe and saw Yolanda's bright face smiling at you that you didn't feel a little bit better. It reassured us that everything was going to be okay, and sure enough, here we are today. So yes, we're going into the big bad world tomorrow. But regardless of whether or not you have your life figured out, or whether you're waiting for that strike of lightning to still hit, life is a lot better lived with a smile on your face, not only because of what it says about you, but because of what it can do for others. And finally, enthusiasm. Now, after watching my fair share of YouTube commencement speeches in preparation for this, I've noticed that a lot of speakers talk about living passionately, right? Going after your passions. And, I think they have the right intention, these people, but they're a little bit off the mark. So one of the benefits of being an English major here is understanding the importance of word choice, right? So Yolanda doesn't actually live passionately necessarily. She lives her life filled with enthusiasm, and there's a difference. See, passion is Latin, passionem, and it means suffering or enduring. On the other hand, enthusiasm comes from Greek, enthusiasmos, and it means divine inspiration, to be inspired or possessed by a god, to be rapt, to be filled with ecstasy. Now, passion kind of sounds miserable, right? It's crazy and self-serving. It's a little bit like how we felt this last week during finals. And don't get me wrong, pursuing your passions is important, but it should be secondary. Enthusiasm forces us, compels us to be spirited. It lifts us up. It's something that a person can't help but share. They're literally filled with the Spirit. And in turn, enthusiasm is contagious. It spills forth out of our lives and into others' lives. That's why when Yolanda was so joyful each day, we couldn't help but feel better, right? We were the beneficiaries of her enthusiasm. Now, Yolanda is a fantastic example of living life enthusiastically, but I'm going to give you one more. So this year on the basketball team, we had 6 freshmen. Unfortunately for my young teammates, we also had 6 seniors, 4 juniors, and a sophomore in front of them. So they hardly saw the court. Now, on a lot of teams, this would have caused resentment, jealousy, and division. But my friends didn't let their situation affect their outlook. They were our biggest cheerleaders. They pushed us every day at practice, and they were the reason that we were successful. Their efforts and positive energy lifted us up. So when we are at those entry-level jobs next year, fetching coffee for the boss who calls us Joel instead of Joe or Pat instead of Pam, just remember, we have a choice as to how we're going to respond. Choose to be enthusiastic and to be the best at your job, whatever it is at the time, because enthusiasm doesn't go unnoticed. So in whatever you choose to do after you walk across this stage today, do it with enthusiasm. Do it with a smile. Do it in response to someone else's needs. Everyone's trying to figure out where to go from here, right? Well, a good place to start is with those 3 lessons Yolanda taught us. Sure, today's our day, but think about everyone who made it possible. Look back on this whirlwind of 4 years that you spent here and realize that it's been made better by those who are willing to listen and serve and love. Those whose enthusiasm poured out and made us happy. It might be a teacher, an administrator, a parent, a sibling, a roommate. It might be an Airmark employee that we see every day. But think about that person, and as a testament to their life, try to live yours the same way. Love your life, love the people within your life, and love the time you have. And remember, class of 2014, Yolanda lived once.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed the value of a liberal arts education. And he's a pretty decent basketball player, too. So the Dr. and Mrs. Z.T. Scott Faculty Fellowship for Excellence in Teaching is an award made possible by a generous gift to the university by an alumnus in memory of his grandparents. It honors a member of the faculty for excellence in teaching, advising, and service to students. The 2014 recipient of the Z.T. Scott Faculty Fellowship is a superb teacher, advisor, scholar, and mentor who has profoundly enhanced and expanded the educational experience available to Trinity students. In 1985, our recipient graduated cum laude with a BA in government from Georgetown University. He then went on to study at the Lyndon B. Johnson School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas at Austin, where he received his PhD. For nearly 2 decades, our recipient has taught Trinity students in political science, covering such areas as American politics, Texas politics, American presidencies, elections and campaigns, classical political thought, and conservative political thought. Incredibly passionate, although I think I should change that, incredibly enthusiastic about his field of study, our awardee demonstrates enthusiasm for the subject, encourages his students as he holds them to a very high standard. And he translates genuine care and concerns beyond the walls of the classroom and beyond the boundaries of their undergraduate experience. A former student recalls our nominee allowing students to form a fight club, which is not what you think it is. It is a monthly event in which students could gather with professors and have lively discussions around all sides of the political spectrum. She recalls the impact the discussions had on these young adults, where professors took their views seriously while teaching by example how to argue a stance and still respect the position of others. I think we should take the Fight Club to Washington. Our recipient is thought by his colleagues to be politically conservative, but he has told me that he is considered by his family to be a liberal. Ladies and gentlemen, for his incredible commitment to teaching and advising, please join me in congratulating Professor David Crockett, the 2014 Every private institution of higher education owes its success to the support of individuals who have given unstintingly of their time and resources. Today, it is my honor to present Trinity's most prestigious award, the Distinguished Service Medallion, to the family of a great supporter of the university, Mr. Neil Kerr Sr. Neil Kerr Sr. served on the Trinity University Board of Trustees from 1994 until his death in 2005. As a student at Trinity, Mr. Kerr was a member of the Bengal Lancer fraternity, on the staff of the Mirage Yearbook, and a member of the university choir. Neil and his wife Barbara, a Lancerette, had 2 children. Neil Kerr Jr., who is with us today, a Trinity alum, and a fine graduate of USC's film school. And also his sister, Lissa, who was also a graduate of Trinity. Now, as a graduate of Trinity's nationally renowned healthcare administration program, Neil Sr. was a steadfast member of their Alumni Association, hiring Trinity graduates and helping alumni with their career growth in the healthcare field. Neil Jr. said that his father, and I quote, truly loved the time he spent on campus before and after graduation. He was very proud to be a graduate and to serve on Trinity's board. He would often use his many contacts in business and financial worlds to help solve any hiccup that faced Trinity. End quote. In 1992, Neil Sr. was honored by the Healthcare Administration Alumni Association with the Leonard Duce Award, presented annually to a graduate of the program in recognition of outstanding leadership and significant contributions to the field of hospital administration. In addition to his lifelong leadership and service at Trinity, he and his family have generously supported the university. The inscription on Neil's gravestone reads, and I quote, "Be more concerned with your character than your reputation. Your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are." For his distinguished professional accomplishments, entrepreneurial leadership, community service, and moral and financial support of Trinity University, we bestow posthumously the Distinguished Service Award on Neil M. Kerr Sr. Presenting the award to Mr. Neil Kerr Jr. on behalf of the Board of Trustees is Chairman John Corbell. story of the Core family is really very interesting, and they have been phenomenal supporters of the university. And once again, we thank the entire family. And now we have a surprise for a member of our Board of Trustees who is retiring from the board after a mere 39 years of loyal service. Yesterday, the board honored Richard M. Calvert in recognition of his devoted service as a trustee and as chairman of the board from 1987 to 1990. Richie is an inspired leader, both of the board and of board committees, and he has contributed an exceptional amount of time, very wise counsel, and resources to support the university. His love and concern for this great university over the years has enormously enhanced the value of education at Trinity and the prominence of the university in the landscape of higher education. The Board of Trustees has resolved to bestow upon Mr. Richard W. Calvert, on the occasion of his retirement from the board, the Distinguished Service Award. Richie, please come forward and accept your award from John Corbell.
Say something?
Yes.
Well, I'm floored. What a surprise. I've known many of the recipients of this award through the years, and to be included among that prestigious group is a fabulous honor. And I just want to thank the board for this recognition. Not deserved, but I'll take it anyway. But thank you all very much.
I forgot to add humble to both the recipients of this Distinguished Service Award. Trinity University is measured best by the accomplishments and achievements of its alumni, whose ranks have more than doubled in the last 30 years. One of the pioneers of online gaming, Jeff Strain, graduated from Trinity in 1991. Jeff grew up a few hours north of Trinity in Temple, Texas. While Temple was hardly a high-tech center at the time, and I doubt that it is a high-tech center at the moment, Jeff's parents gave him one of the earliest home computers, and he learned programming by studying the code, modifying it, and getting success through trial and error. Jeff's father was a high school baseball star, but good-naturedly allowed his son to play Dungeons and Dragons rather than T-ball. He also allowed him to take apart everything electrical in the house and tinker on his computer to his heart's delight. I am glad my son is not here to hear this. Jeff says Trinity turned out to be everything that he wanted and more. Under the watchful eye of his advisor and mentor, Dr. Maury Egan, Jeff sharpened his computer science skills, made lifelong friends, and happily ate several late-night meals a week at the original Taco Cabana. I think there are many people in the auditorium who have done the same. After graduation, Jeff was recruited by Hewlett-Packard and worked in Texas, California, and Oregon before accepting a position with a small video game company in Irvine, California, named Blizzard Entertainment. Grandparents, if you don't know anything about Blizzard Entertainment, I'm sure there are some people sitting towards the front that will tell you the story of this fledgling company that only had 30 employees when Jeff joined. At Blizzard, Jeff had a key role developing some of the biggest and best-selling games of all time, including Warcraft 2, StarCraft, and Diablo. His final project at Blizzard was to build and lead a small team on a new type of game that allowed players all over the world to play simultaneously. That groundbreaking game, World of Warcraft. More enthusiasm, please. Went on to become a cultural juggernaut, quickly becoming the top grossing game of all time with a peak player base of 12 million global concurrent players and 100 million accounts created over the lifetime of the game. And it has given me unbelievable street cred that a Trinity alum wrote World of Warcraft. Jeff is really an entrepreneur at heart, so he moved to Seattle and formed his own company, AreaNet, and launched the Guild Wars franchise, which has generated lifetime sales in excess of 10 million units. Jeff sold that company and formed a new company, Undead Labs. I have visited the website, and I am still recovering. It is not for the faint of heart. Although I guess hearted would make sense given what's on the site. The Undead Labs' first game was a simulation of life after the zombie apocalypse. In 2013, Undead Labs launched State of Decay. State of Decay was a commercial and critical smash hit, breaking Xbox Live sales records and receiving rave reviews for unique and creative gameplay. As I mentioned, Jeff is at heart an entrepreneur, a true tiger. He advises a number of institutions, including Seattle Mayor's Office and Washington State Governor's Office, about how to create optimal business environments to recruit, retain, and grow independent game companies. He believes that a quality liberal arts education is key to the development of the skills necessary to be a successful independent business owner, and is grateful for his outstanding education. Jeff has been married for 20 years to his wife Annie and the proud father of 4 amazing children, and have had the distinct pleasure of breaking bread at their table. They're pioneers and live in downtown Seattle. On one of his first dates with Annie, Jeff splashed out and took a walk around Trinity campus. Cheap but effective. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jeff Strain.
So I want to start by saying that, Joe, that was by far the most amazing graduation speech I've ever heard in my life. Well done, sir. I'm a little bit intimidated to be following you up here, so. So I have both the 2014 version of my speech and the 1991 version of my speech, just in case things don't go well. So. So, welcome to the second version of this speech. I suppose I could have been rewriting it. It was supposed to be all about following your passion, and I've been over there desperately rewriting it to say enthusiasm. No, but it is in fact the second version of my speech. It was mostly written yesterday, fueled by chips and queso and maybe one margarita. These are delicacies that are sadly lacking in my adopted home city of Seattle. But my first speech covered global economic conditions. It contrasted worldwide education systems. It correlated them to innovation and disruption in the market. It was an amazing speech. It had grandiose sound bites like, anything that is not creative ultimately is commoditized. These were going to be fabulous words of wisdom. I worked on it for weeks. I was proud of it. It was beautiful. It was also about 45 minutes long. So anyway, you'll be relieved to know you're not going to hear that speech today, because when I shared it with my wife, Annie, she promptly threw it away and told me to start over. This was yesterday morning at about 9 o'clock. She did do it, though, with a warm smile and a gentle pat on my shoulder. She is a true Southern woman in that, so thank you, Annie, for that. So most commencement speeches are memorable either because they incite everyone to go riot in the streets, or they're eminently forgettable because they're boring as mud. I don't think that what I was going to say would have incited you to go riot in the streets, and so I can only assume that it was boring as mud. But if you do go riot in the streets and you go down San Pedro, then I want to go with you, because the original Taco Cabana is right there in McCullough, and I would definitely like to stop by for that. So when I asked her what was wrong with it, she said, look, you believe in Trinity, you believe in the program, you believe these students are going to do well, and that's all you need to say. And she's right. That is what I want to say. I do believe all that, and that is instead what I've rewritten my speech to focus on. So instead of focusing on impressing you with my deep thoughts about the world and your role in it, I'm instead going to try to impress you with my deep thoughts on you and why I think you're going to do well in the world. So last time I was here in Laurie Auditorium was in 1991. I was listening to a commencement speaker whose name I can't recall talk about things I can't remember at all. We didn't take to the streets to protest afterwards, so I can only assume it too was boring as mud. And like you, I was sitting there patiently waiting for all the speeches to end so I could walk across the stage, make my parents and grandparents happy, get my diploma, and blaze off into the world to seek my fortune. My hair was a little bit darker, maybe a little bit bigger. Cell phones came in suitcases, and the internet was something you dialed into. Also, I think a famous 80s band named Duran Duran had just played a show here the week before commencement, so it was a good time. I had a computer science degree and a starter job at Texas Instruments just waiting for me, and it was going to be sexy work. I was going to get to do the kind of deep R&D, high-tech stuff that graduates only dream of. Yeah, I was going to be writing software for laser printers. And it was Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be building my career in the game industry. I certainly played a lot of games while I was here at Trinity. In fact, my mother, who had gone back to school to get her accounting degree to support me and send me to Trinity, called me one night at about 8 o'clock in the evening, middle of the week. I'd been playing on the Sega console game system with my roommate for about 8 solid hours at that point, I think. Yeah, I think the name of the game we were playing was Altered Beast, something like that. So the phone rings, and my roommate answers and hands me the phone, says, "It's your mom," and there was the needle scratch of the record right there. And so, "Hello? Jeff, this is your mother." "Hi, Mom, what's up?" "I've been running the numbers. It's costing your father and me $22.50 an hour to send you to Trinity." "Did you do $22.50 worth of study in the past hour?" I said, "Mom, can I call you back in about an hour?" I can't actually remember how I answered her, but I think it was probably at least a few days before we fired up Altered Beast again. But in light of what I do for a living now, I think I can actually answer that question. Mom is actually here tonight, and so Mom, I don't know where you're sitting, but I can answer that question now in light of what I do for a living. Yeah, I was studying my butt off. I did at least $100 worth of study that night. So nobody could have imagined at that time that video games would wind up being a multi-billion-dollar industry that eclipsed Hollywood. I was fortunate to be part of that explosion, moving from writing code for laser printers at Texas Instruments and Hewlett-Packard, then on to taking a job with a very risky, small little company called Blizzard Entertainment, to work on a couple of computer games, and then starting my own game studio from a spare bedroom twice. I was fortunate to be enthusiastic, not passionate, about an industry that was on the verge of explosive growth. But also I was fortunate because I had the skills to step up and be part of it, take advantage of that explosive growth. And those are skills that I developed during my time here at Trinity. In 1991, the internet didn't exist, and it's hard to imagine. I have a young daughter, and when she was about 12, I was telling her the classic old parent story about what we did and didn't have when they were kids, and I told her we didn't have computers in our homes when I was her age. And she says, "Well, Dad, how'd you get on the internet?" Many of the massive engines that drive our economy that we take for granted today just literally didn't exist, or they were embryonic, or they hadn't even been envisioned yet. And I'm sure most of my fellow graduates back in 1991 would have expected our commencement speaker today to be a famous broadcast journalist, or a news anchor, or a retired senator, or a Cold War spy, something cool like that. And you'll certainly find luminaries like those in those fields, giving commencement speakers all over the United States today and through the next couple of weeks. But you're also going to find a very different type of person. People like like the founder of Craigslist, or the chairman of Google, or the founder of the Gates Foundation. These are pioneers in fields that did not exist in 1991. So who of you sitting here today is going to be giving the Trinity commencement speech in 2037? And what on earth are you going to be doing with your life? I don't have any idea, and your parents don't have any idea, and I assure you, you don't have any idea either. But that's okay, because what I'm here to tell you today is that you're ready for it. The reality of the modern world is this: it's far more important to be able to figure out how to do something than it is to be able to merely do it. Being able to do something and do it well is essential, certainly, and being able to do lots of things and do them well, that's even better. Understanding contract law, or how the human body metabolizes carbohydrates, or how leptons are created, or how to create a ruby gem, these are all great tools to have in your tool belt. Very sophisticated tools, but just that. These are just tools. So you can get these kind of tools anywhere, right? There's thousands of colleges and universities all over the world that will teach you how to use these tools, will teach you the tools and how to use them. But what do you do when these kind of tectonic shifts start to occur in the economy that we've seen over the past 23 years? How are you going to handle it when industries start to be uprooted or transformed, disruptive, even the industry you work in, or completely obsoleted by new technologies and new systems? These are not events that you need to fear, because this is where you shine. What you've learned to do at Trinity is not just to use these tools that you've developed, but also to create new, never before envisioned things with them. And for this, you need to understand people. You need to be able to communicate, empathize, exhort, motivate, and lead. You need to bridge the right brains with the left brains. I don't know if I did that right. I think it may have been this way. You need to be able to judge and weigh the potential colleagues, partners, and employees that you're going to be building your career with. You need to write things that get people excited. And then you need to be able to back it up with your ability to execute. You need to think on your feet. You need to be able to drop one thread to work on something urgent and then pick it up again and keep on going. You have to be creative. You need to be able to figure out how to do things and not just be content to merely do them. And this is the value of a strong liberal arts education. This is why you and your parents have sacrificed so much to be here today. And this is why you've worked your tail off for the past 4 years. In my senior year, I was deeply into my computer science degree. All I wanted to do was sit in my dorm room and write code. I'm serious, that's all I wanted to do. Everything else was an irritant, including my roommate who kept trying to kick me off the modem so that he can make a call to his parents. But I was at Trinity, and I couldn't just turtle down on my major. There were these pesky general education requirements that I had to do in order to be able to walk across this stage. And in my great wisdom, I'd pushed a couple of those off until my senior year. So I found myself on Tuesdays and Thursdays going to Dr. Moya Ball's classical rhetorical theory course. Classical rhetorical theory. This was the study of how Greek philosophers argued with each other. It was worse than my roommate interrupting me. It was institutionalized distraction. We had to write papers, speeches, orations, lots of them, like several per week. I mean, this was a hard course. But after a few weeks, I realized I was really enjoying it. I was looking forward to getting to class. It was incredibly refreshing to be thinking about something completely different, to be around people, because most of the people in the course were taking a major in something aligned to that. I was the only computer science dweeb in the class. But it was amazing. It was invigorating, and I loved it. And that course wound up being one of the most foundational educational experiences for my career. One of the sharpest tools in my tool belt across the foundation of 2 different companies. It's a tool that came out when I was designing websites or pitching to investors or trying to negotiate with publishers or trying to convince some really talented Pixar animator to come work at my tiny little game startup. So these philosophy, art history, political science, anthropology, sociology, Middle Eastern history, literature, and rhetorical theory courses that you've been taking over the past 4 years have taught you how people think and what motivates them and what inspires them. They've taught you how to talk with people who have different perspectives than your own. And they've given you intangible skills to help you collaborate, motivate, and complement others. They've exposed you to professors and students in other disciplines, widening your perspective and helping you understand a broad spectrum of people, rather than just those who are similar to you. So my Trinity education enabled me to be a successful entrepreneur, but these special skills you get with a rigorous liberal arts education are going to serve you wherever you go and whatever you do. You may be an innovator at a nonprofit that you feel passionate about. You may be a teacher. You might go into law, medicine, engineering, or possibly something that nobody has even envisioned today, just like multiplayer games in 1991. But the one thing is certain, is that whatever you do, it will profoundly change over the next 20 years, and you'll be ready for it. So you've all been trained to think in nonlinear ways. You've been challenged and expected to challenge conventional wisdom. This is the foundation of innovation. This is what your parents paid for you to have and what you've earned through years of hard work at a rigorous liberal arts school. This is what Trinity has given you. So go out and use it. Challenge the status quo. Go create jobs for the Ivy Leaguers, and go build something new. You can do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strain. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise and remain standing? Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise and remain standing? Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Music please rise and remain standing? In addition to these candidates, there are in absentia other candidates for the baccalaureate degree whose names appear on the program. Also listed in the program are the names of recipients of master's degrees that were awarded earlier this morning in the graduate commencement ceremonies that were held in the Marguerite B. Parker Chapel. Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of Trinity University, I recommend these candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
Okay, is everybody ready? This is your big moment. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and in accordance with the provisions of the Charter of Trinity University, I hereby confer upon those of you who have met the graduation requirements the baccalaureate degree or degrees for which you have been recommended, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Would the graduates please be seated? Would the recipients of these baccalaureate degrees please come forward to be recognized and greeted by President Alberg and by Mr. John Corbell, Chairman of the Trinity University Board of Trustees. While the candidates are coming forward, I would like to call your attention to the section of the program that explains honors at graduation. In order to emphasize the achievements of the honor graduates, I will call the honor each has received when I call the graduate's name. Candidates receiving Latin honors with a grade point average of 3.5 or more wear the President's Award of Excellence Maroon Honor Stole. These names will also be listed on the Trinity University website when grades are finalized next month. Bachelor of Arts, Nupur D. Agrawal. Christopher P. Alexander. Carlos Jorge Anchando, cum laude. Benjamin Pedrini Anderson, magna cum laude. Larson Edward Andrews. Christina Renee Armstrong. Kristen E. Ashley. Shakoya Yolanda Atkins. Graham A. Bates. Lucas Joshua Adame Bellery. Lavinia Bendandi. David W. Beneski, summa cum laude. Congratulating his son is Trinity University trustee Ted Beneski. Jason E. Blake. Gloria Joy Borgart. Jacqueline Lee Bowes, summa cum laude. Catherine Murid Boyd, magna cum laude. Paige Caroline Brack. Cody Lynn Brem. Morgan R. Briggs, cum laude. Jesse C. Brown, cum laude. Marie F. Brown, presenting the degree as Trinity University trustee and cousin Herb Stumberg, Jr. Matthew Curtis Brown, cum laude, presenting the degree as Trinity University professor and father, Dr. Curtis Brown. Allison Page Buck, cum laude. Murphy Brooks Burns. Gabriela Marie Calleras. Caitlin Stella Campbell, summa cum laude. Natalie Ann Kapp, cum laude. Paige Christine Carlson. Madeline Healy Carr. Richard M. Cassone, presenting the degree as Trinity University Vice President and uncle, Dr. Charles White. Amanda Ga-Yet Chan, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Clausen. Jeffrey Jackson Cole. Tessa Lee Conaway. Bridget Marie Cooley, summa cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Cooper, magna cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Cornejo. Sky M. Cornelia. Stephanie M. Cox. Kevin C. Culver. Kelly R. Cunningham, summa cum laude. Peter Tafil Dancy. Catherine A. Davison, summa cum laude. Jessie Carol Dean, cum laude. Alexander M. Decker. Alessandra Rose DeMonico. Marcus W. DePaul. Shireen Aisha Donani, cum laude. Richard Henry Dietz, cum laude. Rochelle Lorraine Doise. Sarah Caitlin Dolan. Lydia Rose Duncombe. Riley F. Einfalt. Amel El Hadri, cum laude. Julia Minette Emery. Alexandra Helswick, MP. Madeline Camille Estes, cum laude. Elise B. Evans. Michael Allen Evans, cum laude. Hillary Joan Everts, magna cum laude. Joseph Conrad Falk. Cecily Ann Ferguson, magna cum laude. John Alexander Ferguson III. Ethan Michael Furno. Robert Joseph Flannery, Jr. Andrea M. Foster. Adrian Elizabeth Franston. William Caleb Fransman. Sierra Marie French, cum laude. Jacob Martin Friedman. Jeffrey John Gallegos. And Alicia Garcia, cum laude. Taylor Gibson. Edward Alberto Gomez, cum laude. Hannah Samantha Mildred Goodwin. Mary Elise Grasmuck. Leslie H. Green, magna cum laude. Barley Richard Halton. Haley Nicole Hansen, summa cum laude. Sarah A. Hartman. Bina Hassan. Gregory R. Hagen.
Lauren Margaret Hedgren, cum laude. Anastasia B. Hall, presenting the degree is Trinity University professor and father, Dr. Bruce Hall. Alexa Okyung Hong. Kelsey M. Honecker Yarborough, cum laude. Ambreen Huda, cum laude. Maylin R. Hyde. Daniela Ibarra Lopez. Radostina Ivanova, cum laude. Timothy Michael Jablonski. Julia Estelle Jarris. Samuel Milton Jensen, summa cum laude. Holly N. Josserand. Laura Jane Kalb, magna cum laude. Caroline Brosnahan Kelly. Emily R. Kimmett. Megan Elizabeth King, summa cum laude. Taylor D. Kirby, magna cum laude. Aaron Seth Crone. Ethan Jesse Crone, magna cum laude. Jacqueline Catherine Cruz, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Chloe Cruz, cum laude. Megan Kathleen Cruz, cum laude. Alec Christopher LaFale, cum laude. Paige Michael Lanford, cum laude. Michelle Christine Lanier. Jean Catherine Elizabeth Larkin. Rachel Elizabeth Lavin. Miriam C. Lavinda, cum laude. Antonina Felicia Lepine, cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Lucas. Sarah Christine Luganbill, summa cum laude. Kathleen Faye Lundquist. Jenny Irene Mackey, cum laude. Abby Lee Mangle. Shane Riley Manning, cum laude. Sarah Patricia Marchiondo. Nivedita Iqbal Meridia, cum laude. Allison Kendra Martinez. Valerie Lynn Martinez. Taylor Cheryl Maupin. Megan Dominique Mariello. Aaron M. McCann. Savannah L. McDonough. Connor Robert McKinney. Kayla Ray Mendez. Ali Mitani. Alexandra Renee Moore. Jonathan Owens Moore, cum laude. Vanessa Moreno. Sarah Elizabeth Mueller. Nicole J. Munt. Madison Ann Murphy. Erica Virginia Nelson, magna cum laude. Crystal T. Nguyen, magna cum laude. Hannah Ruth Ocean. Kelsey Rosemary Olsey. Vanessa Patricia Ortiz. Esther Ovadia, magna cum laude. Michelle E. Padley. Claire McClanahan Palmer. Joshua J. Palmer, magna cum laude. Pramath Parejat. Paige Alexandra Patrick. Daniela Maria Paz, cum laude. Abigail L. Peak, cum laude. Matthew D. Pierce. Matthew Mills Peebles, cum laude. Victoria Lynn Perko, cum laude. Sarah Ashley Pettit. Michelle Pichardo, cum laude. Erica Grayson Post. Hannah Daniels Pruitt, cum laude. Rachel Catherine Puckett. Lindy Page Pyle. Philip Strassman Queller. A. Nicole Rader. Erin Elizabeth Rand, cum laude. Maya D. Ravishankar. Almas Rasiuddin. Clayton Gregory Reuter, magna cum laude. Claire Bedori Richardson. Emily Elizabeth Riggert. Brittany J. Rios. Sarah Louise Robertson. Cassie Paige Robinson. Samantha L. Rodriguez. Courtney Elaine Cotting Rhodey, summa cum laude. Taylor Elizabeth Rubatum. Brooke Ashley Sanchez, cum laude. Gabriela Renee Sandigo. Ariel J. Schoen. Benjamin Schwanz. Alyssa Renee Cedillo, cum laude. Kevin P. Scheel. Benjamin Samuel Scheinberg. Joseph T. Shotland, magna cum laude. Sophie L. Schrem. Rochelle Marie Simon. Jasdeep Singh. Judith E. Sharon. Zachary T. Slick. Megan Veronica Smith. Sarah Elizabeth Smith, cum laude. April C. Soto. Alexander James Staskiel. Julie Christine Staten, cum laude. Olivia Ann Steiger, magna cum laude. James D. Stryker. Ryan Patrick Sweezy, summa cum laude. Marin Victoria Swartz, magna cum laude. Mei U Da. Anderson Hatcher Thomas. Sarah Thrower Tomerlin, cum laude. Pamela Torres, cum laude. Michael R. Triulzi. Amy Uyen Trong. Lauren Marie Turley, magna cum laude. Stephen Mark Tyson II. Ariel J. Upshaw. Nicholas T. Vale. Megan Kate Varner. Jennifer Cervantes Vasquez. Gabriela Vasquez Hernandez. Sofia V. Velasco. Vincenzo Dante Vernon.
Peter D. Vidmar, cum laude. Nicole E. Vreeland. Lindsay M. Walker. Leah Elizabeth Wesselman, cum laude. Hannah L. Westberg, summa cum laude. Jennifer Taylor White, summa cum laude. Samuel Harrison White. Sarah Straight Wigginton, cum laude. Salome Adelia Wilford. Alyssa Ann Wolken. Austin K. Workman. Elif A. Usel. This concludes the Bachelor of Arts. Congratulations to you all. Bachelor of Science, Matthew David Abrams, cum laude. Justin Travis Adler. Makram A. Amadea. Megan Dean Alexander, summa cum laude. Omar A. Ali, cum laude. Thomas C. Allen. Michael Taylor Almquist. Idarella Alvarez Sierra. Cody K. Anderson. Leslie Jan Barrett, magna cum laude. Travis Avery Batts. Samantha L. Beckett, cum laude. Julio Cesar Benavides, cum laude. Anmol Singh Binder. Taryn Nicole Blackman, cum laude. Scott H. Boop, cum laude. Cade Christopher Bradshaw, magna cum laude. Megan Erin Buford. Kwa H. Bowie. Claire Elizabeth Birch. Jordan Mackenzie Bush, cum laude, receiving 2 degrees. Kristen Dominique Campolo, cum laude. Sean Andrew Cantarella. E. Stow. Benjamin G. Gardozo, cum laude. Julian A. Casillas. Michaela Tulingawe Chappelle Dalby. Eric H. Chung. Spencer Ewing Cobbs. Vanny Cook Collins. Samantha Nicole Couch, cum laude. Jacob Douglas Sucati. Erica M. Dahl Stemness, receiving 2 degrees. Arthur Wilson Day, cum laude. Kelsey Lee Daniel. Benjamin J. Dart, summa cum laude. Thomas J. Davis III. Richard D. Deckard. Xuan Li Dang, magna cum laude. Mariah Lillian DeCerasi, cum laude. Eric Gustav de Zuten, cum laude. Drew C. Dinkins. Richard Alexander Dolazalek. Garrett W. Dominy. Patrick Stephen Dwaraka. Courtney E. Edge, cum laude. Ali Hussein Alaidi, cum laude. Marissa Shireen Imadi. Amanda Julian Ing. Jeremy B. Erdman, cum laude, receiving 2 degrees. John A. Finnell. Maxwell Jerome Flagg, cum laude. Jonathan Kingston Fleming. Addison Merritt Freeman. Allison Marie Funkhauser, magna cum laude. Rodrigo E. Gallegos Anda. Megan Ashley Garcia. Carla C. Garza. Kristen Nicola Gill, cum laude. Karime Gonzalez. Cameron Kenneth Good. Mark Ferris Green, receiving 2 degrees. Presenting the degree as Trinity University Director, Campus Planning and Sustainability, and Father, Mr. John Green. Daniel Ethan Greenfeld. Shelby Nicole Genhart, magna cum laude.
Michelle R. Gunn-Monroe. Melanie Suzanne Gustafson. Rachel Renee Hahn. Rachel Margaret Hunish, cum laude. Nand Hasbamrer, cum laude. Jeffrey Aaron Hayes, cum laude. Jordan Elizabeth Hefner, cum laude. Gerardo Daniel Hernandez. Brian S. Hines. Nu Q Hong. Dylan Connor Holland. Matthew George Holmes. Kylie Quinn Hornbeck. Connor Lee Johnson. Daniel P. Johnson. Austin R. Jung. Upala Kalim. Richard Hagan Katner. Mitchell S. Kawamoto, Jr. George Douglas Kazin. Hillary L. King, cum laude. Robert W. Kitzinger II. Emerson James Kokel. Joseph Robert Kozak. Kevin A. Kramer, magna cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Kroll, magna cum laude. Sunita Lakhani. Zachary Charles Lambert. Matthew J. Landon. Maria Alejandra Barcacha Giraldo, receiving 2 degrees, cum laude. Ashley Nicole Leek. Tyler Stephen Lehman. Brianna Ray Leach. Eric S. Longohin, cum laude. Carol Luck. Jeffrey E. Moss. Zishan Malik. Carlos R. Martinez. John P. Martinez. Sophia Marie Mata. Darren John McAfee. Robert L. McCammon. Molly Elaine McCarthy, summa cum laude. Nicholas Sage McDonald. Megan E. McDonnell. Meredith Wells McDowell. Kelly Shea McGill, receiving 2 degrees, magna cum laude. David Collins McSpadden. Rami J. Megahead. Zachary Aaron Michler Garcia. Lauren Kathleen Mercado. Megan Elizabeth Meyer. Kinsey Ali Miller. Ralph A. Minderhoud. Bryson G. Mitchell, magna cum laude. Michael P. Mitchell, cum laude. Stephen A. Muela. Andrea Nicole Naranjo. Helene Miranda Leodonis Nepomuceno, magna cum laude. Jacqueline M. Newell. Jonathan Van Nguyen. Brenna J. Oakes. Catherine Harrison Ogawa, cum laude. Megan Elizabeth Orell. Jonathan B. Paget. Augustin J. Paez. Denise Paredes. William Jeffrey Paulus. Lynn N. Pham. Amani Don Pierce, cum laude. Camila Dialona Powell. Aaron Matthew Price, receiving 2 degrees, magna cum laude. Thomas M. Pushkarich. Michelle Rangel. Ian Matthew Rimson. Kevin Austin Reynolds. Yuri Santana Ribeiro. Laura Catalina Roa Sanchez. Samuel Justin Roberts. Christopher David Robinson, cum laude. Victor Hugo Rodriguez, receiving 2 degrees. Aaron Julius Rosenblatt. Valerie R. Rutan. Abigail Kathleen Ryan, cum laude. Alexander G. Sadi. Madiha Sajid, cum laude. Ashley Serene. Kara Michelle Schoeneman. Evan T. Scott, cum laude. Gabriela E. Serrano. Catherine Elizabeth Sheldon, cum laude.
Patrick Wannell Shin. Shruti Singh, cum laude. Lauren Cassandra Smith, receiving 2 degrees. Jin Young Song. Tara L. Sparks. Amy E. Spence. David Stein Feliu. Rosemary E. Stoip, summa cum laude. Brian Donald Stiverson. Christian A. Stokes. Hannah E. Stringer, cum laude. Christopher Lee Sullivan. Sophie Lee Swanson. Aaron E. Tanzi, cum laude. Pablo Samuel Tarquino, cum laude. Samuel A. Teague, magna cum laude. Gregory Asa Throne, magna cum laude. Derek Andrews Tinker, presenting the degree as member of the Trinity University Board of Visitor, Professor, Associate Dean at UT, and Father, Dr. Scott Tinker. Christopher F. Unger. Vedante Yogesh Upadhyaya. Adrian Allen Wackett, magna cum laude. Westlyn Sutton Wagner, cum laude. Shaylee Mariah Wallace. Taylor Leanne Watkins, cum laude. Elizabeth Lee Watson. Stephen James Weisenberger, magna cum laude. Michael P. Wen. Zachary Ellsworth Wetzel. Elizabeth P. Whitney. Christian Daniel Wiedeker Gara. Stephanie Alice Williamson. Ryan Douglas Wilson. Jonathan Forrest Wilt. Ryan T. Woodall, cum laude. Zachary K. Wright. Pablo Ibarra, cum laude. Tyler L. Ibarra. Molly S. Zumbro, magna cum laude. And receiving 2 degrees. Bachelor of Music, John De La Rosa Burke, cum laude. Kristen Michelle Burnham, cum laude. Travis Ford Rigby, magna cum laude. Jordan Renee Sheffield, cum laude. Rex P. Simmons. Selena Felice Irby, cum laude. Catherine Ann Yachinich, cum laude. This concludes the presentation of the bachelor's degrees. Congratulations to you all.
Congratulations to you all. It's been a wonderful 4 years. To conclude these commencement exercises, let me now invite everyone to stand and join graduating senior Kristen Burnham singing of the Trinity alma mater. The words are printed in your program. Following the alma mater, please remain standing at your seat for the benediction and for the platform party recessional.
Please remain in your places until the graduates have exited the auditorium. After the recessional, please join us for the President's reception at the Coach University Center in Esplanade. There, we will celebrate the honor of this day one last time and bid each other Godspeed. Even as we are occupied with important things, even if we attain honor or fall into misfortune, still let us all remember how good it was once here when we were all together. Now go, and may God's peace go with you and sustain you. Amen.